Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Black Army Radio, episode number 5. We got the nickel episode happening right now. Hey, Joel, what's happening, man? Are you ready for some short pain for some long-term game, homie?
Oh, yeah. Hopefully it's not too painful out there for the ones who are listening to us. And on that note, just to let you guys know, me and Ty aren't perfect. I'm super dyslexic. I just think Ty's retarded. No, just kidding. But
Slightly.
I'm super dyslexic. I'm going to misspeak on some dates sometimes, probably mess up some words. If it's something that you're trying to fact check us about or you feel like it's not right, feel free to drop us something in our comments and we'll respond to it in kind. You know, news comes in fast. Sometimes we'll misspeak. Sometimes we might just report the wrong thing and find out later that it's false. So um, we're open for that kind of dialogue because I mean, that's really why we're doing this. So like last week, I said Trump pulled out of Obama's nuclear treaty with Iran in 2000. I meant to say 2020. Just things like that are going to happen, and just letting you guys know that when we catch them, we'll try to talk about it, and when you guys catch them, we're glad to hear it. So
Yeah, and don't be afraid to talk shit in the comments about us, dicking up a few things here and there because, I mean, it is what it is, but also on that respect as well, if you do like this show, and it feels weird saying this, but if you do like it, like in any kind of way, like tell a buddy, share it, like it, follow us or something, like that'd be kind of cool. To see if it's I mean, we're gonna do it anyway, you know. But if you think it's worth a damn, think it's worth one single shit, send it out to somebody and tell them to give it a listen. You know what I mean? And so with that being said, we were being told now that across all media platforms, every single major news network out there from CNN to Fox News is telling us to expect some short pain for some long-term game, baby. Some short pain for some long-term game. Actually, before that, should have done this first. So we have a confirmed 7th KIA in this war. Sergeant Benjamin Pennington, 26, out of Kentucky. And so we always have to remember, we talk about this show. The show is about reinvesting in the American project, and it's about the people, and it's about outcomes on the ground for actual human beings over the leviathan of big government and institutionalism. We're talking about humanity. We're talking about the human element here. And so got to give a shout out to that guy. He put it all on the line, and that's the deal. So tough deal, but Sergeant Pennington, I salute you. See you in Valhalla, brother. Also on top of that, even before we get into the short pain for long-term game, we're supposed to be super excited about. Like, I'm
yeah,
not sure. Actually, I'm not. It's not that I'm not sure. Like, I didn't vote for that at all. I didn't vote for any goddamn short-term pain because of warfare to experience some. I remember hearing about that a little bit. I feel like about 20 years ago, something real similar to that. And
yeah.
so, yeah, might be a little jaded when it comes to that stuff. But also, before we even get to that, we got this administration not backpedaling from a possible reinstatement of the draft in this country for this war. And this kind of goes along that American news cycle line, right? Where you talk about short pain for long-term game, the draft, how things are, what Western liberal media is saying about the outcomes that are happening in the Middle East versus what's actually happening in the Middle East because it's not getting reported. And so, how do you feel about the draft, Joel?
I mean, I think if Trump was confident that this war, I mean, I'm pretty sure he already said this war is complete. Um, if this war is any close to being complete, he would just say that we're going to do it with the soldiers we have, and this should be an easy war to win, and we're not going to have to even think about the draft, you know? And the fact that he's um, hasn't denounced it, you know? Like, just if you had confidence in that this war was an easy war, you know, you wouldn't be, um, you would have denounced it, you know? And that's how I feel about it.
And then,
Uh,
uh, yep. On top of that,
Go ahead.
they spun up the 82nd Airborne, and we were talking about that a little bit before the show about what that means. And it's like, listen, the 82nd Airborne, it's an airborne unit, it's an Army unit, it's a conventional Army unit, infantry unit, airborne unit. It's not a tiered element. If the 82nd Airborne is getting spun up right now, you can bet your ass that the tiered elements, tier 1 and tier 2 elements, are already staging. Whether you're talking about Ranger Battalion, whether you're talking about the Green Beanies, whether you're talking about Air Force Special Operations, the tier 1 elements, I mean, I'll just go out on a limb and say that they're already in country for sure. But the tier 2 elements are for sure staging if the 82nd Airborne is spun up. If the 82nd Airborne is spun up, the tiered elements are already way ahead of where those guys are. Way ahead of them
Right.
already because they were spun up way before the 82nd Airborne was ever spun up. And the fact that they're talking about a draft and boots on the ground and we're 10 days into this sucker. I mean, dude, I don't it makes me wonder what in the hell the plan is for the like are they just going to stop elections like Benjamin Netanyahu did in Israel? Like they just stopped elections because of the war. And I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking, bro, there is I feel like the midterms were already going to be a bloodbath for the Republican Party. A
Right.
bloodbath. Like Dan Crenshaw in Texas, Mr. One-Eyed Navy SEAL
Right.
guy in Texas, he lost his election handily.
Right.
Handily. And nobody was anticipating that.
Well, and too, they've already been talking about there was a memo when the day the war started that they were going to be putting U.S. troops at voting booths and stuff, which is, and I heard it was going to be, and this could be speculation. I'm not going to go into, or I don't know. I didn't backtrack it, but, and I heard they're going to have ICE people at like election booths too, which is if midterms was going to happen, there was going to be a ruckus because of all of that stuff, anyways, trying to cause a reaction from the other side, and
Yeah.
with the war, I mean, in the economy where it is, like, yeah, there's a very good. It's the way it's all timed out. It seems like it's almost part of the plan, you know.
Dude, and yeah, and it's not just the war, like the jobs numbers you were talking about.
Uh,
Terrible. I mean, they're like
uh,
real fucking bad, not just like kind of
Yeah,
bad.
92,000 last month. We were down, I think it was 4% from it's the lowest it was since the beginning of COVID
Dude,
right now
it's
as far as unemployment goes.
and these are his people. He already canned the other unemployment people, right? He already canned those people because he didn't like the like a year ago. I remember we were
Right.
on a road trip as a family and I was listening to talking points and they were talking about how he had canned all of the people representing the unemployment outfit in the federal government and he replaced them kind of like with his people. And so it's like these are his people now. And these
Well,
numbers are like real bad, man.
and with the GDP, it's was last time they did it was at 1.4, and this was when all the Republicans are saying we're going to have a great January and it should be at 5.5. And they're already shifting the 1.4 because of the government shutdown, which was all about the Epstein files and them not releasing the Epstein files. Let's remind the people why the government was shut down. But then even in the own White House reports, they said that would only fluctuate for 1 point in the GDP. So even with a fluctuation of them reporting that, we would have a 2.4 GDP when it was forecasted to be a 5.5 GDP. It's moving the wrong fucking direction, like every other number in this country.
Yeah. On top of the fact that we're $40 trillion in debt on top of that
Yep.
already, and we're funding multiple wars. We have almost zero munitions. I mean, we'll get into this, but we're pulling munitions out of South Korea now. Like it's not
Yeah,
even CENTCOM
that's
anymore. We've moved from CENTCOM to now we're pulling munitions out of South Korea, and the South Koreans are pretty pissed. Just like the people in Dubai and Bahrain and the UAE, super pissed because we pulled all of our defensive shit out of there and put it in Israel, and now we're pulling everything out of South Korea. and we're gonna start using it in the war in Iran now because we had run so low on munitions, and CENTCOM was basically like, "Yeah, we don't got enough shit to keep this." It's been 10 days. It's
Yeah.
10 days. It hasn't even been 2 weeks, and we're pulling fucking shit out of South Korea right now because we don't have enough shit to keep this war going?
And a taxpayer's dime at, almost $100 billion a fucking day, 30 days of
Yeah.
this war and we could pay for universal health care. I don't think people realize like the amount.
It's $1 billion a day, right? It's
Yeah,
$1 billion a day. And
that's
so
what I meant to say if I didn't.
that's what we're talking about. I got you. It's okay. Get
Yeah.
me too. I need to get got sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's $1 billion a day, homie. That's a hell of hey,
Yeah.
10 days at $1 billion a day. What would that do for the trailer hoods of South Carolina? Coal
Yeah.
miners, like South Chicago, I was talking about, right? All these people that are sucking super bad in the United States right now. And it's like, yeah, we'll just go ahead and just shell out a fucking $1 billion a day
Yeah.
for this war that we did not even realize was going to be this bad because we just thought we'd bitch slap these guys like we always have and walk away from them with our hands up like, yeah, yes. And it's like, that's not happening at all. Not even a little bit, like not even close to being a little bit. And as a matter of fact, even now, and I was pulling this up. So the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranians are talking about putting naval mines in the Strait of Hormuz now, and this literally just came out. Which, if you're out there and you don't know what that is, those are those little circular mines, like those World War II mines that would be floating around in the water. And if a destroyer or carrier or whatever patrol boat didn't matter, whatever hit it, it'd pop a big hole in it. You know what I mean? Old school naval mines, and the Iranians because Trump fucking he comes out and he tells these guys, these tankers, he's like, grow some balls and go through there.
Yeah.
You just need to toughen up and go through. It's not that big of a deal. It's like, no, they've lit up tankers already, bro. They've already lit up tankers. And not only have they already lit up tankers, now they're dropping fucking mines in the Strait of
Yeah.
Hormuz. And you're telling these guys to just roll through there because you're worried about the economics because you did not know that the Iranians were going to retaliate like this. It was
With
before they did.
and with my understanding, the Strait of Hormuz is a pretty easy place to defend because it's so narrow, so you don't need this huge naval ship presence. So
Mhm.
I know today
Think
I
about the
think
movie
we got
300, right? Think about the
yeah,
movie
it's
300, right? Where they was like,
great
was it the
point.
fire gates or the gates of fire, whatever that was, up there when they fought the Persians, and the reason they were able to hold them off was because it was a very, very narrow area, and they were able to hold them off because that's it's the same thing with this strait. There's nowhere else you can go. Like it's extraordinarily narrow. Like you're
Right.
not getting through there without getting busted up. If they want to bust you up, they're going to. And with that being
Well, and
said,
that's
oh yeah, go ahead.
I think we should do the short-term gain, long-term or short-term pain, long-term gain video because I think with if anybody has been watching any reporting on this news and how Western media is reporting, and then hearing all these politicians and talking heads for the administration going in with the same message, it's, um, yeah, it's
You know
just
what? That's
seems
the coolest thing about the internet. So like the coolest thing about the internet is so back in the 90s or whatever, you would have these they wouldn't get caught with this shit. You can catch them. But it's like
right.
now when you have them and it's across party lines, bro. There's no separation between the Democrats and the Republicans, very little, very little.
No.
And so it's like both all these media outlets, whether they're left or right, are saying the exact same shit. And we can find that. We know that now. Like 30 in the 90s, we wouldn't have been able to do that. In the 90s, you just like, "Oh
Right.
shit, that sounds like a great plan. That sounds like Walter
Well, and
Cronkite said so, so we should definitely do that?"
also in the 90s, the lobbying power of media wasn't so strong, they're in big
Mhm,
lobbies or their owners are part of big lobbying groups for these politicians, so but
mhm.
that's here nor there, but
So for the short-term pain, long-term gain, for example, so this has only been like 10 we're just a little bit over a week in this sucker. And right now, oil prices are up 27% right now. They've probably gone up since I looked up this number because this is happening quick.
mhm.
And also, a barrel of oil hit $120. Now, when Trump, before the close of business, like yesterday or the day before, I think it was Friday, said that the war was about ready to end. The stock market shot up right away. And then at the close of business, him and like Pete Hegseth comes out and he's like, the war is just beginning. And then Trump's kind of like, yeah, maybe the war is just beginning. And then it went right back down again. But the price of oil, as soon as
Right.
he said that the war was almost over, it went from $120 a gallon or a barrel down to like $90 a barrel. The last time it was at $120 a barrel was in 2022 under Biden. And we
Right.
all know why Trump got elected was because everybody was like, it's the economy, stupid. It's the economy, stupid. We want to keep our money to spend on our families and on our own shit. And then none of this stuff makes sense to anybody. And so the short pain for long term game, and where I live here, it's already, I can't speak for anybody else, but I know for a fact where I live right now, it's absolutely happening. I mean, we are 100%. I think gas prices here where I live have gone up about almost 50 cents a gallon already. It's
Well,
pretty substantial.
and the funny thing is they said the same thing with the tariffs. Prices might go up a little bit, but this is going to be the better for everybody. And now that's collapsing on its head. Like right now our exports are down, and if you read the guy who is partnered with Lubbock who's writing the tariffs, we were intentionally trying to crash the American dollar, so with the tariffs put in place that our exports would go up because they'd be more affordable to buy. And from an economical standpoint, if all that worked, it would have been great because it would have eventually brought up the dollar when it all rebounded. But none of that's happening. Our exports are going down. People just are getting shit from China now, and they're saying we don't need you, America. And he's putting us in a corner.
Yeah, we're in a rough spot right now. And when you have all these outlets basically saying, and listen, I don't believe any this short term shit. Nothing that we ever fucking do is ever like short term. Like the rights that we give away, the laws that we give away, like these outcomes, there's always long term consequences. That's what we have learned. Like I'm 45 years old. I'm old enough now to be like, yeah, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. Short term, you're
Right.
full of shit. Like you're doing this right now to cover your ass right now. You're doing a CYA for this month, and then you're going to have to transition to something else, just like they've always done. They've always done that. And so I'm going to play this little montage of short-term pain for long-term gain. And this is going through all the different news outlets. So here we go.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers.
We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on the short term.
Short-term.
Short-term, short-term, and long-term.
Short-term.
Hopefully this is a short-term pain.
Hey man, it's just listen. Just listen to your overlords, bro. Don't be asking questions. Don't be questioning the narrative. Like these massive news media outlets are still pissed off about people questioning their narrative. Like they're still like, how fucking dare you? How dare you? I mean, you saw it during COVID, right? Where they're like, they make Rogan's face look yellow. Remember that? And gray.
Telling people when all that ivermectin drama came out, and I was like, you realize that won a Nobel Peace Prize for treating malaria, and
Yeah.
and it was yeah, and that's
And Dr. Robert Malone, who was on Rogan, he had like developed all kinds. He was like the MMR or whatever, like one of the head honcho guys in development of vaccines. And it's
Right.
like it didn't matter. You know what I mean? I mean, like this, they think they can just like the massive mainstream media networks still believe somehow, which is even more amazing to me because Trump literally ran because of podcasters and independent
But
media.
But right now, like Trump, like owns the media. All the stuff that went down with CBS and the ownership change, like there's already been a bunch of people who stepped down when it first happened because they're like, I can't report on the things I want to report, you know. And I'm not saying like I do think the media is very shifted, but I also think it's a plan. Like that's part of it. Like the politicians and the lobbyists, like with the whole COVID thing, it was a script to read because that's what the government was pushing at the time. And people forget that COVID happened under Trump's administration. People in his cabinet made millions of dollars from the COVID vaccines, and it's the same thing. And that was they don't give a fuck about us. It's about making money. And it's
It's
yeah.
about green. The only color that matters is green, homie. That's it. Like, forget about all this fucking racial shit and everything else. Like, that is a microcosm to keep us at odds independently. Like, when the rubber meets the road for the super duper elite, like just the Epstein class, we can just call it what it is. That's fucking what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's green. It doesn't mean shit. Religion doesn't mean shit. Color doesn't mean shit. The only thing that goddamn matters is fucking nationalities don't mean shit.
Yeah.
Flags, the American flag doesn't mean shit. The only thing that matters is fucking green, is dollar bills. That's it.
It's
That's
elitist.
it.
Yeah.
That is the goddamn only thing in the elite class that matters. None of the other, the religion, the color, the race, the culture, that's all window dressing, man.
And they use all that stuff to keep us fucking divided so that they could do that shit, And that's the thing that gets me is like they use all the race and religion and all that stuff to keep us separated. So we're fighting each other and not them, And it's kind of funny because I feel like
Yep.
COVID's a thing what separated this country. And I kind of feel like this Iran war is kind of a thing that's pulling it somewhat back together where there's people on.
You say war?
Yeah.
Have we decided? Okay. Let's fucking
Yeah. Is this a war?
What is what is a woman? Like, what was that dude who went, like, everybody loved that shit? And I did too. I thought it was fucking great. And now I want to talk to conservatives and be like, what is a war? Hey, guess what? We haven't officially declared war since goddamn World War II. We haven't officially declared war since fucking World War II. We fought Korea. We lost 35,000 dudes. We fought Nam, 50,000 plus dudes. Cold War spurts. You can put Mogadishu and some other stuff in there, like Gulf War, GWAT. You know what I'm saying?
I think I read something the other day that there's only been 20 years of this country's existence where we haven't been bombing or at war with somebody. 20 years of this country's existence where we haven't been at bombing or at war with somebody.
It's pretty wild, man. I mean, I feel like people, especially in this last election, it was I felt like there was a really, really big push for economics. Cost of living, gas prices, like debt, managing debt. I mean, we have a massive amount of debt in this country right now.
Not going to war and making all that shit worse.
Not going to war and spending $1 billion a day, $1 billion a day. And then it's not just that it's $1 billion a day. It's the fact that our gas prices are about ready to go up to $5 a gallon plus, especially here in Colorado. I mean, like, it's crazy. I filled up gas today and it was about $5 a gallon where I'm at right now. Just about 5.
Well, and if this war prolongs, like a lot of the like the stuff that's coming from Iran too, it helps us mine like stuff for computer chips and all this stuff too. So this is going to have like a huge global impact when it comes to consumerism and stuff. And if this is something that stretches on for like a month or two, like the computer chips we need to make our bombs aren't going to be there. Like this is going to be something that falls down the supply chain and starts hitting other markets fairly quickly if this doesn't subside.
Dude, it's been 10 days.
Yeah.
It hasn't even been, I mean, like, this is nothing right now. I mean, GWAT in Afghanistan, 20 plus years, Iraq, like 15 years or whatever it was. I mean, we're 10 days into this sucker. And Iran is like giving us the middle finger right now. That's another thing. Trump comes out. He's like, these Iranians want to negotiate. They want to negotiate. I'm not going to negotiate. We're not negotiating. They want to negotiate. The fuck they want to negotiate. Like, they don't want to have anything to do with negotiations. They're fucking done. They're very, very. Hey, listen, if you're out there, stop listening to American media. Stop right now. If you want to know what's going on in the Middle East, if you want to know what's going on, what Iran's saying and what all these other outfits are saying, you need to go to international news. You need to find an international news outlet that is reporting this stuff, because there is nothing coming out of Western liberal news media, to include Israel, that is on top of this shit in any way, shape, or form at all. And so also, on March 7th, which was like a few days ago, and I'm sure people saw this on the news, a combined U.S.-Israeli force, they ended up blowing the shit out of a ton. Well, it was really 4 different oil refineries in Iran. And this had direct repercussions because Iran is not playing fuck games right now. Like, they're not dicking around. So they are going tit for tat big time. And here's another thing for people out there. Has the United States been hit by anything yet?
Nope.
I thought we were under an immediate assault at any minute.
They were going to have nuclear weapons today. You know, if we didn't start the war 10 days ago, they would have had a stockpile of nukes.
Yeah,
they could enrich they could enrich your uranium quicker than any other country can
in the history of forever.
Yeah.
In the history of forever, dude. In the history of forever. And then, like, I mean, so we hit these oil refineries, and it creates like an apocalyptic event in Iran. And hey, it's war. This shit happens. You know, there's a lot of talking about that. But the energy hitting the energy sources isn't really that abnormal. But the thing about it is if you're like, we always talk about, dude, the Iranian people haven't stood up at all. Like, they're not protesting in the streets. They're not demanding democracy. Like, all this stuff that people had been talking about, literally, forget just the last few months. For decades, about Iranian independence and freedom and democracy and republicanism and all this other kind of stuff. It's not happening, bro.
Yeah.
And it's either not happening because it was never really that. And here's another thing. Iran is huge. Iran has 1/3 of the population of the United States. It's like 90+ million people. It's a ginormous sect of religious beliefs, cultural beliefs, economic beliefs, tons of variability, with all of those different things. And to believe that these people just all encompassed 90+ million of them, the exact same belief, is ridiculous. As a matter of fact, there's a ton of there's more protests going on over the killing of their leadership than there is for freedom. Like, what we would consider Western liberal freedom, like people going out there and demanding it. There's way more protests taking place about the fact that their leader was killed because he was like a religious figure. Good or bad for us, how we think about him individually. We're talking about Iran right now, not the United States of America. Iran is not the United States of America. The people who live in Iran aren't fucking American people. The people who live in Thailand aren't fucking Americans. The people who live in China aren't Americans. They don't think like you. The people who live in Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Germany, Russia don't think like fucking Americans, as much as we like to think that everybody is us.
And I think one thing too, that like with certain Muslim sects, like one of the reasons I think Western capitalism, all that, is against it, because it doesn't push materialism. Like, they are very humble. They're not about capitalism. That's why they wanted to keep their oil, because they knew that they could stockpile the oil in the 50s and still run their economy just off that, because they didn't want to buy all this stuff. You know, they're not like Americans, where they want to, spend fucking $75 on Amazon every week, you know, and that doesn't jive with um people who are capitalist countries, you know, if you're not buying and spending, you're not part of the team, you know?
Oh, absolutely. It's a completely different mindset, and it's like you have to kinda travel a little bit to see that, you know what I mean? And it's becoming more and more difficult to travel at all, just economically, which is one of the reasons why we goddamn voted for Trump. It's because we
Right.
wanted to have more economic opportunities. Hey,
Wanna
did you see they got the band back together? They had Condoleezza Rice. They had,
Oh shit.
dude, they had, like, all of these old school neocons from the Iraq War, and they showed up in DC to,
Mhm.
like, talk to Trump about this war. And you're like, "Yeah, that's gonna go great." Condoleezza Rice was there. There was some other
Yeah.
figureheads, Bolton, some other figureheads that were there. They were all super duper Iraq 2002, 2003 WMD people. Even to this day, like even if you listen to Pence, I was listening to Mike
Yeah.
Pence on Piers Morgan the other day. He's still defending the Iraq war. He's still saying
Yeah.
the Iraq war was a just war to fight. Mike Pence. Still, to this day, 2026, all these years later, and this asshole's still like, yeah, this is a very good war to fight. It was very meaningful. It was extremely important. It was absolutely
Yeah.
worth the loss of life. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like,
Probably because he made a bunch of fucking money during
yeah,
it.
fucking shit, are you kidding me? Give me a break with that
Yeah.
shit. Super duper, like,
Uh,
religious guy, right? All valued up and everything, but, like, we can kill 1,000,000 plus people in Iraq, plus not to mention all the Americans we killed and all the treasure we spent, and you're still gonna justify that shit. It's like going back and trying to justify the Vietnam War. You know what I mean?
well, and when we're talking about um death and stuff, like I was looking up, something came up and I wanted to check the numbers, so I saved them. And it was talking since 1970, approximately how many deaths have we been accountable for through one war and the others through sanctions on other
You're talking
countries.
about the Middle East,
And
right?
this is
And you're talking about in the
this
Middle
is
East?
this this is all together since the 70s. So this is every conflict we've been in since the 70s, death tolls
I
from
think I saw this, but
sanctions,
go ahead. Yeah. Mhm.
and they said this was the Lancer Global Health is the one who did the study, and they said it estimated over 38 million deaths over sanctions. Those are just that means starving people to death, not giving them water, not giving them health care. Post 9/11 wars from 2001 to 2023, um, the project estimated that over 940,000 people were killed by direct war violence in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and Pakistan. Total war deaths from that war zone and um, or including indirect deaths from destruction of infrastructure, lack of food and water in post 9/11 war zone brings the total deaths to 4.5 to 4 million people. And with those sanctions and stuff, they said that um, more than half the victims are normally under 5. So out of those, that 38 million people who died, half of those were children because we
Okay.
chose to sanction a country and starve them to death, you know? And that's
Children are
also we
always the
could
most
black
vulnerable. Children are the most
well,
vulnerable. Mhm.
and I think with the sanctions, if they're done right, like I'm not against sanctions full on, but the way we do it is we sanction a country, and we've talked about this before, where we sanction a country so the dictator starts starving their people so we could start this propaganda campaign how this evil dictator, when before this sanctions typically their countries were doing okay. And when you look to a lot of these sanctions too, it comes around with banking, and like these countries aren't part of the Rothschild banking system, and there's a lot of weird stuff how like all this stuff works, you know? And it's this
Oh,
big
yeah.
global elitist thing.
Yeah, it was, when we sanctioned Iraq in the '90s, we killed 1,000,000 Iraqis, they were almost all kids, and I
Yeah.
think it was whoever the attorney general of that time, was it God, I wanna say it was Janet Reno? Um, I think it was her, I could be wrong, but, basically said that it was worth it. when she asked about it, when they were like, "You killed 1 million Iraqis through sanctions," because you think Saddam Hussein or any of like his kids are gonna fucking starve to death, or they're
No.
just gonna? No, fuck no. They're not gonna like. You think Putin is starving in Russia through sanctions, or like Mao Zedong did in China, or like any of these people, Gaddafi, like any of these people at all? Like, were the elites in any of these countries in any danger of starving
Right.
to death or not having medical care?
Yeah.
Fuck no. The people that are going to starve to death and not have medical care are the peasants. That's it. And that's all.
Mhm.
And like anybody that thinks any differently is retarded. I don't know how else to say it.
Well,
It's crazy.
and the sad fact with our country is the people who are going to die in this war are. I'm not. I'd be willing to bet that most people join the military aren't from nepotism and influential like money. You know, there might be some like military background, family background, but it's going to be middle class Americans who join the military and going and dying over there. You know, and that's the
Hashtag
sad
Barron
fact as
Trump
well.
join the military.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah.
yeah, I
I
mean, like,
saw.
Barron Trump ain't going over there in the 82nd Airborne and like gonna be hucking, like rucking a 45-pound ruck, 50, 60-pound ruck, not including weapon system, plate carrier, nods, all the other shit. You got med gear, everything else you're carrying with you. You know what I'm saying? I saw all these videos of like Benjamin Netanyahu's kid. Benjamin Netanyahu's
Right.
kid is like sitting in Miami, Florida. He's been living in like Miami or whatever down there for years and years and years, like just
Yeah.
living the high life, talking all kinds of shit too, by the way. He gets on X, Twitter, whatever, talks all kinds of shit about how we should basically be subservient to the Israeli empire, pretty much. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, your country right now is getting fucked up, like real bad right now. As a matter of fact, there's a huge media blockout and you can be put in fucking prison and jail. I mean, they're not the same thing, but they kind of are the same thing.
Yeah.
For reporting anything out of there. And it's like, here's this guy sitting at like getting photographed in Miami Beach hitting on chicks. And he's Benjamin Netanyahu's kid, right? Hanging out over there. That's what happens, dude. That is the oligarchy class, man. It is not
Well, and
their children that are going to die in this war. It's our fucking, it's the last generation's war fighters' kids that are going to be dying in this war.
and what happens is the American citizens are going to suffer. Food, gas, all the prices, everything's going to go up. Why that oligarchy reaps the benefits of systems collapsing and then buying them, like, and that's
Hey, dude,
exactly
you
what's
got
going to fucking happen.
you got to be into some short. You got to be into some short pain for long term game, homie. You just got to ride
Yeah,
for the brand,
right.
dude. Just so you guys know, it's absolutely your patriotic duty to pay more at the gas pump. If you're bitching about paying more at the gas pump, it's because you're a terrorist. There's no other way to put it.
Yep.
We need to experience some short pain for some long-term gain, people. That's what we voted for. We voted for some short pain for some long-term gain. And when I say short pain, I'm really talking about the rest of your fucking lives. So
Yeah.
here you
real.
go. Here's a Fox News analysis telling us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, people, and quit complaining.
So people can wrap their heads around that. I just think about every time this happens and people start, the gas prices. My dad pulls out the ration coupon book from World War II and tells me how my granddaddy's Chevy dealership just went poof overnight. Didn't get it back. Lost his business. It just went goodbye because all of the auto manufacturing was redirected toward wartime manufacturing. So let's pull our trousers up, shall we? God.
Let's pull our trousers up, shall we? So this is Fox News, man. And like everybody was saying it's the economy, stupid. And now you have this girl making voice tones. Oh, gas prices. Oh, gas prices. While she's working for Fox News, probably making $250,000 a year, right? And
Well,
we've been talking about this shit forever, and now we're getting fucking made fun of by the elites. And make no mistake, she's an elite. This gal on Fox News is an elite, telling us, making fun of us because we have the audacity to say that we want decent gas prices, which is what we
Right.
fucking voted for.
Well, and I think this is, this is on top of like him cutting a bunch of government subsidies for people's health care. Like people are suffering already. Their life's getting more expensive. And like when you're trying to split, $4,000 a month between a family of four, like this is a thing that makes you fucking go homeless, Like this is not the time to be fucking around with war. And a war that it seems like you have no plan for. Like what was the plan after we bombed Iran? Like what do you think was going to happen? And I think it's like you
they
said,
thought that we'd bitch
yeah.
slack them. They thought that we'd bitch slack them like we always do, and walk the fuck away like we always do, and they wouldn't do shit like they always do. That's what we thought. Like I said in the last episode, right? It was like two football players picking a fight with a chess player out in the out in the playground. We found out the chess player knew jujitsu, because right now he's
Right.
doing a hell of a lot to hold us back. And on top of that, on top of all those, like Iran immediately retaliated as soon as we hit their massive oil facilities and created a tremendous amount of like almost apocalyptic chaos in a lot of parts of Iran. We just burned up a crap ton of their oil. But Iran hit Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. I mean, they hit Bahrain multiple times, and they blew up Saudi Arabia's like premier, one of the world's largest oil refineries on planet Earth. One of their massive oil refineries. They smoked it right after we smoked theirs.
And they took out one of Emirates' biggest facilities as well, and like we were talking about before, is just wait until they start bombing water. And the crazy thing is like
they already
Iran
are
is
bombing
showing
water. They already do.
but
They're hitting water plants now, water treatment plants for the Middle East. Mm-hmm.
They've done it with some restraint, though. They could have got those all on the first day. And that's the whole. This is going to be a big and it's already a humanitarian thing. Gaza was a humanitarian issue, but this is going to blow up that whole region. Lebanon already had, like, I think it was 62,000 people leaving their houses, immigrating. I don't know where they were going, but who are leaving because of the war. This is going to be. It's a big deal, and then it also. With like neighboring countries who've been fighting these immigration problems for years, it's just going to go back to what this was during the Iraqi war, and it's going to be not good.
Yeah, dude. And Lebanon also we were talking about this. I'll make this quick because I want to talk about Iran's new leader, Mojibeda Khamenei, who was the son of their previous leader, who had his dad killed, his mom killed, his wife killed, his son killed, and 4 other close family members killed within the last 10 days. And he was just elected the new leader of Iran, right? So much. Remember, we killed all the guys that we wanted to put in there. We killed them all on like the first day of bombing. The people that we had like set aside to be like, just hang out for a little bit. And as soon as we do this shit, we'll bring you in and put you in power. Because that's what we like to do, right? We install our own dictators, just like we did in 1953 when nobody wants to talk about when Iran really got turned on its head in 1953 for British Petroleum because they wanted to be energy independent. That's where it starts. Not 1979. 1953 is where this starts. Okay. And like this dude, like the very first thing that he did when he was put in power was just go for it. And this goes along the lines too, where we were talking about where Trump was being like, the Iranians want to negotiate. They want to negotiate, but I'm not going to negotiate. There's no negotiation. There's only victory. And you're like, no, bro, you're fucking lying. You're a fucking liar. That's what you are. That's what we have found out about you. You're a lying piece of shit. That's what you are. No respect for this dude anymore. Done with it, man. It's like Dan Bongino to me, right? Dan Bongino was like Mr. Super Duper podcaster, super tough guy. He'd always like look into the screen and squint and be like, motherfucker, fucking child molesters, fucking kidnappers,
Yep.
fucking rapist. I'm gonna bury them all under the jail. And the first thing he does when he gets in there is conform. And now he's out back podcasting again, talking about how badass he is again. And he didn't do fuck all
Yeah.
the entire time he
Yep.
was in there for Epstein or anything else besides lick boots. It's all he's freaking done the whole time. And now he's back out there pretending to be a fucking tough guy. But it's like this guy has no, and the entire state of Iran has zero, they're not willing to negotiate. They're done. They're done negotiating. As a matter of fact, if Trump declared victory tonight, if he got on the news and they said, we won a tremendous victory, it's over, we fucking killed them, we crushed everything, we own all their shit. You know what they're going to keep doing? Bombing Israel, Bahrain, Dubai, the UAE, everything else. They're going to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed. And he can declare victory all he want because Iran's like, nope, we're not done. We're not done. We're going to keep going. And they haven't even unleashed their supersonic like missiles and shit yet. You know what I mean? Like they're using drones, they're using like regular stuff right now. They have not released their arsenal.
Well, and I think this goes back to, like you said, I think we vastly underestimated. We thought we were going to go in there and bitch slap them when they've been planning for this shit. They had jets painted on the fucking ground, so our satellite bombers and our drones were bombing these giant paintings of jets. They're wasting $1 million missile on a fucking painting that took somebody $300 worth of paint to paint. You know, they're putting bombs are coming out of the hills in a desert because they've been burying these fucking, or not bombs, but they've been burying these missiles for the last 20 years. You know, like, you think they're going to let us, you know, we bombed their missiles like the first day of bombing. No, we bombed the ones that we could see with our satellites, you know, like they don't have they don't have Russia and China intel to help them, you know. And it's kind of weird how Trump's handling the rumors of Russian intel helping Iran, how he's not really like facing that at all, you know.
Dude, how do we even face that? I don't even know how we face that. Like, if you think about China and Russia right now, we are in no position to fight China or Russia right now. Like, we're pulling munitions out of listen, we're fucking way lower than people. People have this a misconception right now about where we're at militarily in this country. We have given away a shit ton of our stockpiles of munitions and stuff to all these other wars. We're not reproducing as fast as we've given away. We have run through CENTCOM already. We're 10 days into this sucker, and we're pulling shit out of South Korea now to fight this war. And South Korea is saying the same thing that Dubai said, that Bahrain said, that Saudi Arabia said, where they're like, no, we let you have a base here because, yeah, you were giving us money. That's half the equation. The other half of the equation is you're providing security. And so South Korea is looking up at North Korea across the 38th parallel, and we're pulling all of our shit out of there. And they're like, wait a fucking minute. Like, what are you pulling all of your anti-aircraft and all your other shit out of here to reposition in the middle? This fucking shit is here. That's why you're here. You're here for this. You're here for that shit to be here to save us, because that's why you're fucking here. That's why you're letting us, you have a base in our country, is because of this.
Well, and I also think too, this is when you have fucking, and I know Pete had some chops in the National Guard, and I think he did 2 tours in Iraq. I could be wrong. I know he did some stuff. I don't know exactly if it was battle. I don't know where he was.
I'm not sure what his background is either,
have,
honestly, to tell you the truth. I don't know a big extent of it. I don't know. Yeah.
This is what happens when you fucking half of your generals quit and you have somebody who was on Fox News for 7 years as a fucking more or less an influencer or a media head trying to run the fucking cabinet. Not run the cabinet, but run the Department of War, not the Department of Defense, you know? And it's like too, like the people who are backing this war are like the kids who were like, my dad would beat you up. You know, like, my dad's a badass, and his dad was some fat fuck on the couch drinking Budweisers and smoke a fucking, 12 cigarettes a day, you know? And it's like
Dude, the people beating the biggest war drums, man, and I said this what I don't know, an episode or two ago where I was like, I said I don't like this about myself. It's like the 40-something-year-old males that had 20 years to fight and stack bodies for this fucking country, and they didn't do it for whatever fucking reason. They decided not to serve. 20 years, 2 decades. It's a long time. If you felt that goddamn compelled about how important these WMDs are and this war is over there, are now telling us that we need to sacrifice this generation's sons and daughters for this war, while they're not fucking they're not enlisting in this war either. So there's 2 wars in their lifetime that they could have fought in for the red, white, and blue to stack Muslim bodies because terrorism. Because we're not, because we're not religious extremists here, even though we're obviously saying that, all of our military commanders are saying that Jesus Christ has been chosen by God to light the fire in Iran to bring about the second coming of Jesus. And they're still doing this stuff. Like Pete Hespeth was just talked about, he was just on 60 Minutes talking about the religious implications of this war. I mean, dude. And so it's like, as far as I'm concerned, we're just like that's religious extremism. That's not a whole lot different, because on top of the fact that we're promoting it, we also kill a lot of fucking people. We kill a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people. And we just don't do it militarily in this country or even close to this country. So the population base, the voting base is so far removed. Like, I've been overseas. I know what we're capable of. I know what we do and how violent we can be and how like outright just powerful we are militarily over there. And like how fast we can just extinguish life. I mean, on a biblical level, easily. And it's like nobody here that's like working, in any kind of like regular capacity job, middle class human has really any idea of what that kind of violence looks like at all.
No.
Outside of goddamn Modern Warfare on PlayStation or something.
Right. Well, and I think we've been insulated from it for a real long time as a culture. And then the propaganda after 9/11, and I think there's been a lot of things that people were scared to say, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, coming out of the Obama term, when it came to some of the white nationalism talking points and stuff like that. That's like common for a lot of the people in the Republican Party, a lot of the cabinet members. That's commonplace now, and in this own country where if you're a brown person, you better have fucking papers on you, and that's fucking embarrassing, dude. Like I'm not saying things can't be done with immigration, but to just harass somebody because of their color of skin or they have an accent, dude, that's fucked up.
Yeah. And here, so Lindsey Graham, we got to get to this. He's been this little motherfucker. I'll tell you what, if anybody needs a plate carrier or a rifle and like to get put on the front lines, is this son of a bitch. This guy is a closet homosexual. Like, South Carolina, what the fuck are you doing, South Carolina? How in the hell is this guy? Like, it's like Mitch McConnell or Nancy Pelosi or like any of these people that are just forever people. He's even worse because he's not geriatric. You know what I mean? Like, he's in his 70s and he's still pretty competent. But like, you will have a hard time finding a guy who is more bloodthirsty than Lindsey Graham, who's also probably wildly incapable of performing his own violence. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if Lindsey Graham was jumped on a street or like pulled like on a street corner, I feel like a 15-year-old, like a 12-year-old boy would beat his ass to fucking half to death right there. And he wouldn't be able to do anything to stop it at any time of his life. Forget about the fact that he's 70 right now. When he was 40, when he was 20, you will very seldomly meet a more bloodthirsty human being than what this guy is. And he, like, the stuff that he's promoting right now, like, you even have Republicans coming out being like, you need to pull this guy back a little bit. Like, he's talking about Cuba and Lebanon and like all this other stuff already. And like, we got our hands full right now with Iran. Like, we got our hands full. And like, he's been waiting for this war, I feel like, his whole life. I mean, there was an interview that Trump had like on Air Force One where Lindsey Graham was standing there and he was like bobbing back and forth and he's like, yeah, 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 we're gonna bomb him. We're gonna fuck him up. We're gonna kill him. Whoa, yeah, yeah. And Trump was talking about, this was like before the 12-day war. And Lindsey Graham, I was sitting there watching him and he was like a 12-year-old girl that was about ready to become a teenager you know what I mean? Like he was so excited about this.
No, when he talks about this shit, he's almost gleeful, and it's fucking, I mean, you'll probably play it, but some of the stuff about sending our sons and daughters to fight these wars and stuff over there, and it's like, come on.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it's not going to be anyone
Yeah, I'm going to play this clip where
play
he's literally talking about going back to South Carolina. It's towards the end of it. It's like a minute-long clip. And he's talking about how he has to convince the people of South Carolina to send their sons and daughters to Iran for war. And he's like super happy about it. Super happy.
Get our air bases out of Spain. They're not reliable. Move all those airplanes to a country that would let us use them when we're threatened by a regime like Iran. To our friends in Spain, man, you have lost your way. I don't want to do business with you anymore. I want our air bases out of Spain into a country that will let us use them. To our Arab friends, I've tried to help you construct a new Mideast. You need to up your game here. I can't go to South Carolina and say we're fighting and you won't publicly fight. What you're doing behind the scenes, that has to stop. The double dealing of the Arab world when it comes to this stuff needs to end. I go back to South Carolina. I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast. What I want you to do in the Mideast, to our friends in Saudi Arabia and other places, step forward and say, this is my fight too. I join America. I'm publicly involved in bringing this regime down. If you don't, you're making a great mistake and you're going to cut off the ability to have a better relationship with the United States. I say this as a friend.
Dude, I mean, I don't know if I've ever met a human being. I haven't met this motherfucker, but like seeing a human being that was more just like incapable probably of producing violence independently, but wanted to like have other people perform extreme amounts of violence on his behalf.
Right.
And that to me is almost like the definition of cowardice. I think he's a fucking coward.
And there's a reason why these other countries don't want to team up with fucking Israel, and all those countries have helped in ways with Israel throughout all these, but there's a reason why we're the only country who's full blown team up with Israel. Like these other countries like Qatar, they're saying like they're grateful for the UN right now because they've showed up in a lot of ways to help them because all our fronts are on the war. We pulled off, our bases got bombed. We pulled everybody out. There's no one from America to help. So and it's
dude,
almost looking like
Bahrain
we might
looks
need
like Bahrain looks like Gaza, bro. Bahrain, like based on all accounts right now, and like I said, there's a huge blackout in the Middle East. As a matter of fact, there's one guy I want to give a shout out to who I kind of follow on Facebook because I think it's important. Shit, I'm not gonna be able to find his damn name now. Here we go. This guy, he's getting threatened. He lives, I think he's in Israel, but he's reporting a lot of stuff that's happening in Israel, and Israel is getting make no mistake. These outlets out here, like I said, you got to get out of Western media. You got to get out of Western liberal media. You cannot listen to like Fox News or CNN or MSNBC or ABC, CBS, NBC, any of this other these Americanized outfits. You have got to get into international media to find out what's really going on over there. And this guy's his name is Alex Barnicoat. And he's got an outfit called Alex Barnicoat News. He's British. He looks like he's like 25 years old. He's been threatened by the Israeli state multiple times for incarceration because he puts out videos of what's actually going on in like Tel Aviv and Jerusalem and parts of Israel where he's filming. And dude, like they're getting cooked over there, man. They're getting cooked over there. I mean, Israel has even gotten to the point, and this is crazy for Israel, for them to kind of like, they kind of want to, they were talking about walking it back a little bit. They're talking about walking it back a little bit against Iran. And it's like nobody has been chomping at the bit more than Israel to go at Iran, but they did not expect this kind of retaliation. And the Iron Dome is not holding up. And we do not have enough of those of those interceptors.
Interceptors. Yeah.
We don't, and they haven't even
Well,
started using their supersonic like weaponry yet. Like they're really, really, really good stuff. They've been burning through all of their trashy munitions, and they've been waiting for us. Based on all accounts, they've been waiting
well,
for us to use these interceptors so they can really start. Once we get through all these interceptors and everything, they start using their serious shit that they have not broken into yet. I mean, bro, like Israel could be in for it could be a real bad thing for them right now, for the civilian
well,
population in Israel, like real bad.
and it looked like Iran in the first 2 days, like, their bombings were hard on communications and radar centers. So, like, even with the interceptors, like, I read something where almost 75% of their, radar centers were totally destroyed, so, like, they're getting radar from, like, portable stations now. So, like, even the Golden Dome is fucked up from that alone. So even if they had the interceptors, depending on where the missiles are coming from, they wouldn't have the infrastructure there with the radar to um, have it work, I guess.
Oh yeah, to make
Iran's
the
been
hit.
planning this shit for 20 years, and they're
They've been planning this. Yeah,
I,
they've been planning this for a long time. And here's the thing, like, so we just replaced the guy. We just killed the guy, and they got replaced with his son. So there's no, and his son, by all accounts, is actually more extreme than his dad. And I think
yeah,
he's probably going to be more extreme now. Like I said, listen, we like to think about Middle Eastern people or people outside that aren't American, like almost as subhuman. Like somehow they're different than us. They feel different about family than we do somehow, because we're kind of like told that based on Islamic extremism and all this stuff, that they'll just sacrifice kids and like loved ones and they don't give a fuck. That's not true. It's not true at all for them. Like they're people like everybody else's people. I can verify that right now. And it's like this dude lost his parents, mother, father, wife, son, 4 other close relatives. You think he's going to be less extreme than his dad was? And it's like, if
right.
they can't kill him now and he stays in power, you think it's going to be better than it was when his dad was in power? This son of a bitch is probably on the warpath right now. I mean, he's
Right.
probably fucking like, dude, you can take negotiations, shove them up your ass, and set fire to them. Like he probably doesn't give a fuck at this point. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I would think. And here's the stuff that's coming out of Israel. So this has been verified by multiple journalists that the censorship that's going on is authorized through the Israeli state. And there's basically, I want to say, 4 different provisions to it. Provision 1: journalists and civilians are barred from filming or broadcasting at locations hit by missiles or drones, especially near military or strategic installations. That's number 1. Number 2, use of drones or wide-angle shots to show the extent of damage at impact sites is strictly prohibited. Number 3, publishing the exact address or location of the strike. 4, these restrictions extend to any person, including private citizens posting on social media platforms, blogs, or group chats. It also applies to Western journalists. Remember in those last episode where I talked about it was like CNN, where they're like, we're going to report this, but Israel said we couldn't report
Right.
it because we're run by a country in New Jersey, the size of New Jersey, that
Right.
we subsidize. We run by them because they have they have videos of our leadership fucking kids. Like, I mean, that's what it is. Like, we're run by a
Yeah.
country in New Jersey because their intelligence services have videos of fucking our political elite, probably fucking children, or doing even worse things. And
A
now
country the
we
size of
are
New
totally
Jersey.
beholden
You
to
fucked
them.
that one up.
Totally beholden to them. Yep. The country the size of New Jersey is telling our shit what to do all the time. And here's Lindsey Graham again, talking about how he is more beholden to the state of Israel than the United States.
Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for. So we have a commander-in-chief in President Trump, who I think is Ronald Reagan plus, plus, plus. All the anti-Semite.
I mean, isolationists. You know what he's talking about? America first people. That's what he's talking
Right.
about. When he says isolationists, and he puts these people in the same category as anti-Semites.
Right.
Once again, motherfuckers out there, Israel is a state, not a religion. Israel is a state, not a religion. It may be a theocracy in a lot of ways, but it is still a state, not a religion. And this guy is basically saying that anybody out there that it's America first is the same thing as an anti-Semite. That's
Well,
basically what he's fucking saying.
and when we're speaking out on the Israel government too, you know, and there's a lot of stuff that we're saying that people would say is anti-Semitic. I don't think once have we said anything bad about the Jewish religion.
Dude,
If
even when we did our
anything,
second episode where it was just strictly on Israel and land heritage, like what does a land heritage right mean? It was nothing about it was literally just about that. That's it. There at no point in time have we ever been like Jewish people this, Jewish people that, Jews this, Jews that.
well, and
We
I
talk
think
about the state of Israel, the state of Israel. Just like we would talk about the state of Sweden or the state of Mexico or the state of fucking Canada or any of our other allies, like the British. Can we talk bad about the British Empire? We can talk bad about the British Empire. We can talk all kinds of shit about the British Empire. The French. We can talk shit about the French. We talk all kinds of shit about the Canadians. The Canadians
Yeah.
lost a shit ton of people in Afghanistan, by the way. Everybody out there listening. So anybody that doesn't think that the Canadians are loyal to us, the Canadian military put boot to ass in Afghanistan. Big time. Big time. As a matter of fact, the longest recorded shot in fucking history is from a Canadian sniper in Afghanistan.
and this goes back to all the people where they said the Danish own Greenland and they do nothing to keep Greenland. Is from what I understood in their action in Afghanistan, they lost the most amount of soldiers to the smallest country. So like per capita, like the people who were there, they lost more than any other, not saying they lost the total more than Americans, but to the amount of Danish people who fought in that war, they lost a higher percentage than any other country, you know? And that's why some of these treaties we have, and when it comes to the costs and how much America pays for it, like, yeah, I totally agree with, I disagree with how NATO is structured in ways, you know, but we have these relationships for reasons, you know?
Well, we pay for
And
these relationships for a reason.
yeah,
We don't just have these relationships. We fucking fund these relationships.
yeah,
We fund them through our labor dollars. The UN, NATO, like all these climate initiatives and everything else. Like they're not like it's not Denmark paying for this shit. This isn't
right.
British people paying for this shit. Isn't Israel paying for this shit?
But it's
us
also
paying for it.
it's also our government doing it because all that shit makes money. War makes money for the people in power, you know? It's like the yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know
Well, it's just
how
like the stock market,
you
all the
fix like
military industrial, Halliburton, Skunk Works, like all when all this stuff first kicked off, like everything else went south, but everything associated with the military industrial complex and weapons production went through the roof.
Yeah.
Which is always the way it is. It's the way it's been forever since World War I, since it was basically being able to tally since Medley Butler wrote "War is a Racket" way before Dwight Eisenhower ever even coined the phrase military-industrial complex. Like this stuff has been going on for a long time, and like what we have to count on, or what we should be counting on, is journalism.
Right.
Journalism is wildly important, man. Like the reason that the First Amendment included the freedom of the press is not so we go to Israel and say Israel says we can't report shit.
Right.
It's so we know what the fuck our money is going for in our blood and our investments. Like the fact that we like journalism, like literally free journalism is what we're doing right now. Me and you. That's what we're fucking doing.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of these other outfits that are out there that may have like 100 people listening to them. You know what I mean? Like we have like 100 people tops maybe listening to us or whatever. And it's like, dude, we are way more free with like reporting this stuff and talking about it than Fox News is or CNN is or MSNBC is or any of these other outfits, these mainstream media outfits that we were talking about. But it's like the freedom of the press, the founding fathers knew the information, the access of correct information meant the difference in everything. How you vote, where you spend money, what you believe in, what you stand for. It's like our entire lives in a lot of ways are like in like first world societies are shaped. I remember growing up as a kid, I was a Fox News kid. You know what I mean? I was a Fox News
Right.
kid big time for sure. Like my parents watched Bill O'Reilly. Like, remember when Sean Hannity was on Crossfire on CNN before he even went to
Yep.
Fox News? He was on with that other kind of alien looking dude. I can't remember. He was a
Yep.
liberal progressive guy.
The
And
bald guy.
yeah,
Um,
kind of a weird looking dude. And he came over with Sean Hannity on Fox News for a little bit and he hung out as
yep.
like a liberal commentator on Fox News. And dude, I grew up like my whole worldview was shaped by that. My entire worldview was shaped by sitting up with my parents and watching like the O'Reilly Factor. You know what I mean? At 6 o'clock Mountain Time. Don't
Right.
fucking miss it.
Well,
Because it's like that's where the truth came from.
and I think the sad fact now is like there's all this information, but it's still whatever the algorithm feeds you. I really um if I could get like one thing from my listeners, I don't care if you're a raging lefty, I don't care if you're a raging righty, go look at the other news that you wouldn't look up, whether it's sit down and watch MSNBC's news for a day, and then in the next day watch Fox News, and then start to read in between that, and that's where the truth is. And that's when you start searching and things, because all these news outlets are giving bits of truths and narratives. Like this stuff has to be generated out of something. It's not just thin air. But when you go to dig deep in it and you're not looking at it from if you're looking at it from a biased perspective, normally you'll find some middle ground, like why me and Ty are sitting here today, because we looked at a party for so long, and then it turns out like, oh, maybe all the shit's not true. Maybe these narratives that I've been fed down my throat for, you know, because my dad told me this, and that's how I thought for 35 years. Some of these are just narratives forced down my fucking throat.
Yeah. What I would say too on top of that is don't not even just necessarily Western media comparisons. I really believe the internet you need to compare Western media with international media at this point. Like it
Right.
is really, really difficult to know what's going on right now if you're relying on Western media. You're just not going to get the full truth. And I had some gal on Facebook that like from way back in the day, high school, who posted on something and talked and asked me a question about like where do I find real information? And it's like you're not going to find it here. Like you're not going to find information on what's going on here. You're not. You got to get outside the box. Like that guy I was talking about, Alex. The hell is his, Alex Barnacote. And it's like that guy's putting like that guy could end up in prison in Israel for like
Right.
probably the rest of his life. Like who the fuck's going to come get his ass out of prison? Like is anybody going to stand up for that guy if he gets hooked? I mean, he's in Israel right now reporting and posting the shit on Facebook that like you can't get information from almost anywhere else. And it's like, is he just going to end up in a fucking cage forever? And nobody's going
Right.
to say anything or like get him out of there if it happens because he's reporting what's actually going on, so we can make educated decisions because we got an election pretty soon, right? We got the
Hopefully.
midterm in like 9 months or whatever the fuck it is, like pretty quick. And if they even happen. I don't
Yep.
even know at this point. Shit's so
Yep.
crazy, man. Shit's so crazy. I can't put it past anything. Like I can't rule anything out at this point. Like I don't feel like I can. I feel like we're in such a weird narrative. Like we're in the upside we're in the upside down right now. We can't it is very difficult to know what direction we're gonna go. You know what I mean? And I
Well,
think it like normally in a normal trajectory with the midterms in like 9 months equals a Republican bloodbath. But I also don't think that's the whole of the story. Like, I don't know what to expect between now and then. Like, the narrative, this timeline, like fuck, we might have aliens just land on top of the goddamn White House next week. I mean, shit is crazy as hell right now, you know?
No, I mean, yeah, and when you get into like bigger stuff, deeper meaning stuff in astrology, this is supposed to be a really crazy time. There's a bunch of cultural things that are saying like put your fucking helmet on because these next few months are gonna be nuts. And it's not that I used to not want to believe in any of that shit, but when you start like this this era that we're in, this was talked about in astrology for the last like 1500 years, coming into this series of dates that we're going to be in this like crazy space geopolitically, like all this stuff, you know, and it's exactly and I don't know. I mean, all all that stuff is really cool. Religion, mysticism, astrology. I'm like a sponge and I take bits and pieces of everything. So that's how I view it. But it's there's a lot of weird shit going on in this country. And I do feel like the consciousness of this world is upside down right now.
I also think, yeah, and I also think we're kind of entering into a new realm of knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that had to do with the internet. I also think a lot of it just had to do with the fact that it is kind of that time. And you know, man, the whole religious connotation with this war and everything. It's not that I don't, and this is the weird thing. Like if this is a religious war, I don't think it's the religious war that they're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like would like the boomer mindset of Christianity. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what kind of we're talking about when we're talking about this being a religious war. I think that it's deeper than that. I think it's older than that, you know? And I think humanity's been reset a few times.
Yeah.
And for anybody out there, if you don't keep up with this stuff, if you don't really deep dive into mythology, ancient religions, stuff like that, humanity, will probably that probably just sounds crazy to you, and that's fine. It's fine. But there's a lot of stuff you can read out there, whether you're talking about Graham Hancock, who kind of broke the seal on a lot of that stuff,
Yeah.
or you're talking about people that have kind of almost taken his place in a lot of ways, and are detailing kind of a spiritual reemergence. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like a
Exactly. And
spirit. Yeah. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
that's that's kind of what I'm talking about with like the universal consciousness, you know? Like we have all these systems that are collapsing around us. There's people who I think there's been a big movement with some of the ayahuasca, DMT, microdosing mushrooms, where there's been like hardcore Christian pastors who have had these experiences where they're backing off of their view of Christianity and how they were once preaching it. You know, there is this big opening of maybe we got it wrong, you know, and all this stuff coming to light between I messed this one up again.
Archaeology.
Thank you. Um, the all the Graham Norton stuff with the Younger Dryas, and then finding out that all
Graham
these ancient
Hancock.
cultures, or
Yep.
Graham Norton was the ancient civilization guy, right? Or did I
No, that
mess
was
that one? No,
Hancock,
Graham Norton.
and then there was yeah, there's a few of them, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few of them. That might be, I'm not sure if I know that name, but yeah, you're 100% right about that. And so my wife, she got her PhD in psychology, and she did her entire dissertation on psychedelics, and primarily psychedelic therapy for like veterans and first responders, and how they respond to that kind of stuff, and about how it's so much monumentally better than pills or diving into the bottle act, obviously. Um,
I
And
mean, it's changed that whole field with PTSD and head trauma. Like the results they're
dude,
getting is
the results are
outstanding.
unbelievable. Her book, like she did her dissertation on this, and it was it's fantastic. And it's like, unfortunately, for like guys like me, like I'm a veteran and I'm a former cop. And it's like, if we're gonna seek those treatments, we're gonna be put in a cage in the United States. In a cage. It doesn't matter what you did for this country, how many deployments you did, how many arrests you had, like, or any, like, none of that shit doesn't fucking matter once. You pop hot on one piss test, it's over for you, bro. Like, you can
Right.
drink a handle of wild turkey a night. You can be a cop fucking drunk half the time, honestly, if you wanna be. I've seen it. Can totally happen. And it's, like, almost acceptable. You know what I mean? But if you have
Right.
sleeping problems and you smoke a little bit of weed and you piss hot, your fucking career's over.
Right.
It's over at that point. In psychedelics, it's the same thing. It's like you have guys that have to go all the way to South America to do ayahuasca or DMT or ibogaine or whatever it is. And the results that have come from that and the experiences that have come from that. Like, do you want? I'm a kind of on a firm belief that in the United States, with the war on drugs, and you can see a change in music. You know what I mean? From like the '60s, '70s, into the '80s and '90s when
Yep.
the war on drugs kind of happened. And you have to be able. The only way that you can do that here as an American citizen is you got to go out of the country to experience it, and it
Right.
changes you on an individual level. I mean, if I would have been in a special operations unit, for example, and I would have went down to South America and done ayahuasca, I would have had a completely different perception on what the value of human life meant. You know what I mean?
Right.
The value of human life for me changed when I started to dabble in those experiences myself. After I got done with my military career and my law enforcement career, and like I firmly believe in a lot of ways that my wife saved my life, and for some of those specific reasons. And it was like it when it changed my whole perception on how I valued humanity and how I saw humanity,
Right.
you know? And it's like, and these I see in a lot of these governments, in a lot of, especially these Western governments that promote a lot of liberty, there's a lot of control. There's a lot more control than you actually see. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of the reason why that stuff in a lot of ways was outlawed is because it kind of takes, in some ways, it takes like that human element, that humanity element, that global humanity connection starts to show up. And you don't start to
Right.
like, you don't think necessarily so much about like the red, white, and blue and like these people are so much different than us, and we need to fight them and kill them because their values are entirely different. And you start to just sympathize with humans on a human level. And you kind of
Right.
can't have that if you're a confrontational society. Like, we are a confrontation. We are our economy is built on war. Make no mistake about that. You know, we have warred perpetually. We were talking about this in the other episode. Like, China hasn't been in a full scale military engagement since like the Korean War. And we talk all
Right.
kinds of shit about China, but it's like if you go to China right now, the way that their economics are, the way that their industry, like we talk about infrastructure, their infrastructure is great over there. They have fantastic infrastructure, energy. Now they're lacking in a lot of other things. I'm not saying that they're fucking perfect or whatever, but it Denmark or somebody, Denmark or Sweden just did wireless electricity, like home to home wireless
Yeah.
electricity. We're not doing that in the United States. As a matter of fact, just like that MIT professor that got smoked, who was like 30 years old, he was working on single point energy. Like, you have Lindsey Graham going out there basically saying, we're going to make a shit ton of money off this war. We're going to make a shit ton of money off this war. And we're going to Venezuela for oil. And we're going to Iran for oil. Meanwhile, single point energy has been around repeatedly for the last 50 plus years. And every single inventor that has produced single point energy systems has fucking ended up dead.
Yeah.
Dead. In the
Disappeared,
ground,
dead. Yeah.
fucking murdered. And you're like, gee, it just must be a coincidence, right? And then on top of that, the US Patent Office has full control of classifying patents. So if you go in
Right.
there and you patent your single point energy system, guess what the government can
They
go
can
in there
take
and
it.
do? They can eminent domain that shit. They can eminent domain that shit and take it from you. And so most of these
Well,
people, and I was watching some David Greer. You know the David Greer documentaries on single point energy? He's like, these
yeah,
guys
I've
are
seen
putting
some of
their
'em.
energy systems, yeah, they're putting their energy systems in there, and they're not doing it correctly. So when the government comes and takes it, they can't reproduce it. So when they patent it and they put their patents in there, they intentionally fuck up the patent a little bit so it can't be reproduced. And they do it on purpose
Right.
because they want to maintain
Well,
control over their invention.
well, and even from just like a much more explainable level to people who don't know what like single point energy is, just what they did with Anthropic. You know, Anthropic was an AI, and Pete Hegseth, Anthropic and the government were trying to do a deal. They already were using Anthropic in Israel and some other foreign countries against non-American citizens. And when the deal came to use it more in our military, Anthropic said, we'll work with you, but we do not want our software using to spy on American citizens, and we don't want AI pulling the trigger for our weapon systems. We want a person still to be pulling the trigger, and we don't want you spying. So what did Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump do? They called Anthropic uh, a supply chain risk, which is essentially blacklisting a government. Anthropic is suing them right now for that. But after they did that, they still used Anthropic in the first day of the Iran war, because essentially they said, okay, because this is a war, and I forget what it was called. There's a name for it, kind of like eminent domain. It wasn't eminent domain, but because it was a war, they legally said we could use this because this is what we're
Emergency
using
Powers Acts.
before.
Yeah,
Yes,
Emergency Powers
exactly.
Act does that stuff. It's the same thing with like the Patriot Act, with almost the elimination of the Fourth Amendment. It's through Emergency
Right.
Powers Act. I mean, single point energy systems, if you're out there, I would highly recommend you watching some David Greer documentaries on single point energy. I mean, basically, you can eliminate the entire like natural gas, oil, everything else. You can run like you could have a home that would basically be able to run everything, your refrigerators, your microwaves, your ovens, like everything on a single point energy system. You wouldn't even have to have an outlet. You wouldn't have to plug it in. It would run forever with that little piece of single point energy that's in it. You could do it with vehicles. You could have it in your house. It would run your air conditioning system, your heat, your everything. And it's like you wouldn't have energy bills. Your energy bills would go away because you would just purchase this, right? You could purchase a car or a fucking microwave or a refrigerator, and it would have a single point energy system in it that would run continuously, and you wouldn't have to plug it in. It would just run
Well,
on its own. And
you
this shit's
think
been developed over and over and over again. And every single time it's developed by somebody, it gets fucking confiscated by the American government, number one. And number two, the guy that fucking invented it ends up dead. And it's happened over and over and over and over and over and over again since like the 50s, since before the 50s, even.
you think our American government would like that because they'd be able to go to war all they want and the energy prices wouldn't go up. But
I think the
apparently they
American
just like have
government
us
has
under their
stuff.
thumb.
Yeah, I think they have stuff that they're not even releasing in war. I mean, maybe they might a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit if this goes into a
100%.
massive World War III scenario. But I think there's UAPs, like there's real UAPs, and I also think there's like manufactured ones that we've been able to reproduce over the last like 70 or 80
All right.
years. You know what I mean? I think there's a combination happening out there, both. And I also wouldn't be surprised if there's a false flag thing on that when you had like that Age of Disclosure documentary when they were talking about like an alien
Yeah.
threat. And I'm like, dude, if there is an alien threat or a UAP threat or any of that shit, these, first of all, they've been around here for thousands of years, number one.
Right.
Number two, if they wanted to get rid of us, they would just drop a little germ into the atmosphere. We'd breathe it in, and it'd be fucking over for us.
Yeah.
You think they're going to go house to house if they're thousands and thousands of years advanced from us, and they're going to go house to house and fucking room clear? That's not what they're going to do.
We'd be done.
Are you out of your fucking mind? And that's another thing we talk about false flags. And we're talking about the Iran war right now, and I wanted to bring this up, and it's kind of late in the pod to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. And I think we need to really start worrying about false flag. I think we need to worry about an attack here on American soil that is very similar to a 9/11 attack, where there was a whole bunch of intel on it. Like before 9/11 happened, there was a ton of information on it. Like you had multiple flight schools that were reporting these guys saying that they only wanted to learn how to fly. They didn't want to learn how to land. They didn't even want to learn how to take off. They just wanted to learn how to fly. Like they had been reported to multiple agencies, all kinds of stuff, all the way leading up to 9/11, and nothing happened. Nothing. They didn't do anything with this information at all. I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, we're in such a weird spot with Iran, and especially with the midterms and everything coming up, man. Like if there's an attack on American soil, we got to be real critical about that. We need to be critical about that when we examine that, because it would be really, really easy for this administration, knowing how underwater they are, and they know how underwater they are. There's no way they don't know how underwater they are, especially leading into the midterms. And the easiest way to galvanize a shit ton of American support is by having an attack right here on American soil. It's the easiest, by far the easiest way to do it. And every time it's happened, it's done nothing but generate 90+% support for just kill whoever the fuck we got to kill to get retribution. Yep. We got to be careful about that because, listen, I don't trust anything anymore. I don't trust any of these institutions. I don't trust any of our leadership. I definitely don't trust this administration. I didn't trust the last administration. This isn't a right or left fucking show at all. Like we're not friends of Republicans or Democrats at all in this show. Like we are friends of the American project. We are strictly promoting the original ideals of the American project. And dude, we're gonna have to fucking watch out. If you're out there, I highly recommend you travel armed with some medical gear and just be prepared, because I do not I don't know, man. I got a weird feeling about this. And the whole thing with Iran, they talk about all these sleeper cells and everything. And it's like, yeah, of course. But it'd be real fucking easy to do that here. Like we have people that have those capabilities to do that here that are our people without question.
And I think the fucked up part is our resources are all pushed towards immigration when it comes to Department of Homeland Security, and then there's been a bunch of turnover in that. So possibly we're the most vulnerable time we've been in for a terrorist attack on American soil in a really long time. And we've had turnover with Kristi Noem just getting fired. The guy who replaced her has 2 years in politics, and no offense to somebody who just has a GED, no college education. And when he went in, he's been in politics for 2 years. When he went in, he had $1.2 million net worth. He was an actual former UFC fighter, so he gained some net worth in that. He's now worth $45 million in 2 years. And he's a Trump loyalist who just got promoted to Homeland Security, who's been in politics for 2 fucking years. And he's running Oklahoma. When you look at their numbers, is one of the worst ran states in the fucking country. And now he's our director of Homeland Security.
Yeah. Nothing surprises me anymore, buddy. Nothing surprises me. Be on the lookout. You got anything else? We're an hour and a half into this sucker.
Stay strapped, my friends.
Stay strapped. Listen, don't have questioning eyes and prepare yourselves out there, people. I'm telling you, this world, everything right now is so unpredictable, people. Take care of your families, spend money on shit that's important, that'll get you through hard times if they're going to come. Get yourself a solar generator. You got a weapon system, grab yourself 1,000 rounds of ammunition that you hold on to, that you don't spend at all. Get yourself some dried food. Be ready to last a few weeks or a month independently if you need to. I mean, shit's getting weird and shit's getting weird quick, and we are not the predominant. I don't really believe that we're the predominant superpower in the world anymore. I don't. We're in a multipolar world. We're not in a unipolar world anymore. We were for a while. We're not anymore. And we're having a real hard time with Iran. And if fucking China jumps into this shit, we don't just have our hands full. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to be entering
We have our
Mordor
hands full
on
and
Lord of the Rings.
we have our
Yeah.
we will have our hands full with our pants around our ankles.
Dude. When you have these people, I'm like, you guys don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about with Russia and China jumping into this shit. And of course they're giving intel. We give intel. Like, what do you think happened in 1980 when the fucking Afghans were fighting Russia? We were giving them weapon systems and intel. Like, this is a normal
100%.
fucking thing. It's like Iran coming out and telling Trump he needs to be ready in case like there's a thing for his life. Like, no shit, we just killed the entire Iranian hierarchy.
Yeah.
Like, of course they're going to
Right.
say the same things to us. How shocking. How shocking is it that they're threatening Trump's life? Oh God, how terrible. It's fucking war, man. We're in a massive war right now with them. What the fuck do you think's going to happen? Of course that's going to happen.
Yeah. What a massive war that Israel got us into. Let's remember that Israel attacked first, and then we couldn't keep our fucking dog on the leash, so we have to go fight a fucking war because of it, and it's bullshit. And maybe we're their dog
Again.
and we're on their leash because it's starting to look like that. But
It is. I mean, I tell you what, American politicians don't do anything to quell that belief. They don't do anything to quell that belief, homie, like at all. If anything, they stoke those flames, and they stoke it willingly, and they're still doing it. I mean, it's beyond baffling to me, dude. I can't, other than the fact that I think they got videos of a lot of our politicians fucking kids, like, I can't wrap my head around it at all. Like, it does it to me, especially with how it's been talked about for the last decade, and there's been so much anti-war sentiment and just exhaustion from this shit from the general population. I just can't understand how it could be anything else. I just can't at this point.
there's not any lobby that's bigger than Israel's super PACs and APAC. So start there. There's 99.9% of our politicians take money from one form of those organizations or another. And some are $100,000 and some are 9 million, 20 million. So I think it
Or
starts there.
235 million, like Trump.
Yeah.
$235 million from APAC. Oh my God, dude. I mean, that's like the top. I think the next guy I had on the list was like 20 million or something, but $235 million on APAC. God, to think it's $250 million fucking dollars, bro.
Yeah.
That is so much money.
Crazy.
Or whatever. Okay, nothing to see here. Nothing to see. How dare you question an anti-Semite? Anti-Semite.
Thing. Just remember, it's not anti-patriotic to hate fucking pedophiles and hate giving our money to other countries. Just, if you want to talk shit about your country, you have every right to.
That's right. I feel like it's a lot more patriotic to want to keep your money and hate pedophiles. So
yeah, for real.
Yeah. I think we've kind of transitioned to that point as a society.
Yep.
People are fucking pissed. All right, brother. Love you, man.
All right. Love you, brother. Have a good evening. Thanks, guys.